Hey, Fitzy here, back at it again with another one. You're a hobbyist, you're on a budget, and you're trying to do some body work. You'd like to have one of these, okay? But you need an air hose. And on top of that, you need a compressor. It'd be so nice to be able to do a bit of body work on one of these, though, wouldn't it? Well, Vevor sent me an oscillator, reasonably priced, and it's electric. Cool. Stick around. So we're here today. We're going to talk about sanders, okay? I have a new sander here, and I think you guys might find it very, very interesting. Okay, I'm a bodyman by trade. If a lot of you don't know, I've been a bodyman for over 30 years. I worked in the trade, I fling mud, I sanded cars down, I painted cars, I've done all that type of stuff, collision work, done all that type of work over the years. What I used a lot of, okay, were sanders. Okay, there's different types of sanders. Different ones have different applications for what you can use them for. But the biggest thing with it is just an everyday sander that you want to sand your car with. Now, some have advantages, some are better than others. I'm going to show you now the difference in a lot of these sanders. What we have here now, not this one here, but this one here, okay? This is just a cheap, run-of-the-mill oscillator, DA, knuckle buster, whatever you want to call it. This is the most common one, okay, that you find around. I've used these and in the past and whatnot, and this one here a little while ago was given to me. There's always a use for it. These are great for stripping cars. I'll show you that in a second. But to look at this here and to pick one of these up, they're usually pretty cheap. You pick them at Princess Auto, Harbor Freight, Canadian Tire, them type places. You can pick one of them up really cheap. Now, they serve the purpose, they're good. They will run on a simple compressor, but they run out of air, okay? A lot of times, if you're doing any amount of sanding, you'll run out of air. They are extremely hard on the hands in terms of vibration-wise, because these vibrate a lot. I've used them years ago, they were great for that, but they were never smooth, and they were hard to control sometimes, and every now and again you'd bend a shaft in them, and these would get a wobble, and these get brutal. Winter time they'd freeze up, all that type of stuff used to go wrong with them, but they'd run on a small compressor that you'd have around the yard. Now this one here, this is a step up from them, okay? This is what they call like a palm sander. It's still a DA, it's still an orbital setup, but it's a lot smoother. I've used this for doing finish work. Like, I've done dents and never used a block, and this is what I do. I'd sand it out with. This here is very smooth compared to that, okay? So the problem you're going to run into is, with the difference in the two of these. These here are a bit more expensive. They're a lot nicer. They're smaller. You can hold them in your hand and whatnot. They put off a nicer finish, but they do take a lot more air than these here. I've always found that these were great. The problem with ear tools are, especially body tools, is that you need a compressor to run them. Now, if you're into body work and you're doing a lot of body work, you need a big compressor, okay? This one's a 5 horsepower, 24.6 CFM, and it's only 455 RPMs. This is a very slow compressor. It's got big cylinders in it, so it holds air a long time. It doesn't work as hard. It doesn't generate water as much. But for most part, most of the compressors you buy are smaller cylinders. They rotate faster. They have a higher RPM, and the CFM is not as big. You run into, when you're doing a lot of sanding, that you'll run out of air. Now, an item like this here, when I bought this back in the day, I think I bought this close on 20 years ago. And I paid over $2,500 for this compressor back then. And I got a deal on it then. Today, don't know what compressors are worth, but you can buy smaller ones now, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, something like that. And they'll do the job. They're great for putting on tires and stuff like that for doing body work. It's kind of hard, especially depending if you're using HVLP spray guns. You're going to be keeping an eye on your CFM. But like I'm saying here now, the biggest thing I'm pointing out here now is that in order to have body tools, one of the big things you need is a compressor. So you need a compressor, you need the air hoses, water separators, you need all that. So you're into doing your body work on a car for, you know, starting off, you're going to have $3,000 or $4,000 tied up in tools. So here, what I'm saying is that you're a hobbyist. You just went out and bought yourself a car, or you got yourself a little project in the garage. You want to restore a car, you're watching Fitzy's Fabrications well in pieces in the car, and you want to start in as well. So now you want to get the car all ready, and you want to get it ready, and you want to paint it. Okay? So you got it, now you need the equipment to go out and buy it. So you got to go buy a compressor. You know, you got to go buy hoses and water separators and all this type of stuff. Then you got to buy an oscillator, okay? So, you know, you're keeping it cheap, so you're going to buy this one here. Can't afford this one here. That's too expensive, so you got to buy this one here. So this is the one that you buys, and you turns on the compressor, and you run the compressor, and runs out of air, so you got to wait a few minutes, whole 9 yards for that. So here's your dilemma that I'm running into now. I've been here, okay? When I first got into the trade, I had a little 2-horsepower compressor. I used to have it in my garage. And I had set up underneath the bench. One of the little ones got wheels on it. You can roll it around. And I think it was, I don't know, 20-gallon tank or something like that. It was only a small thing. Anyway, but I used to be doing a lot of body work and stuff like that. And I used to have to run my sander for a while. Then I used to have to stop, wait for my compressor to build up and shut off. And then I'd start in again. And this is repeat. And I found that when I was doing a lot of heavy work, I was having a lot of trouble with water. Water was coming from everywhere because the actual lines were getting warm and everything, so there was a lot of moisture in the lines. So all these years I've been at it, I've been pretty lucky because I got the compressor that I got now, and it doesn't work as hard. And, you know, I got the proper gear, but that's because it was in my trade. But if you're home and you're a hobbyist, okay, and you want to do something simple, I played around with this here. This is just an electric grinder with a pad bolted onto it, okay? And you put stickets on that there. It's okay for stripping paint and stuff like that. It's very uncontrollable. It's no good for doing the body work and whatnot like that. What you got to have on these is right on this one here. There's a dial there. And this one here has a little lever on the bottom there. It's like variable speed. You can slow it down and you can speed it up. Now this one here has a counterweight, and I used to call these knuckle busters because if you watch it, that thing spins around, and if you got your hands down or in around there, you're going to bash your knuckles off of that. My poor hands have been beat up by them many times. Now the nicest thing about this one here is you can design it much the same this one here is for stripping. All you got to do is turn this counterweight. There's a little notch right here on the actual the wheel itself, and you can rotate this, spin this around, and now it'll only grind. Right? So that's one of the nicest features about this here. But I found these were, when you start using them, they will vibrate on the hand. There's a lot of motion going through this here, and your hands will get tired and sore. Okay? This one here has always been my favorite. Right? It's a lot louder because I got the muffler taken off it, because they used to clog up the mufflers on it. That's one of the tricks they used to do with them there, is remove the muffler and you get more power, right? But you turn around, and this one here got variable speed on as well. Right? So you can use that one here. You won't beat the knuckles off yourself on this one here. This one here is a lot smoother when you're sanding body filler. You can actually do body work with these ones here. But all this costs money. So what is a guy to do when he is just picking up a car for the first time, he's out in his garage, and he wants to do body work, and he wants to get ready and get it painted, and he wants one of these sanders? This is where Vevor comes in. Now, if you're not familiar with my channel, and it's your first time here, I do a lot of sheet metal work and do everything on a budget, use basic tools the whole 9 yards. And one thing I'm always looking for cheap tools that, you know, I could probably pass on to you guys, because I've noticed that on my channel, when I go in the comment section, there's a lot of new people that are just getting into this, as a hobby, and they're looking to do body work, do metal work, do all that type of stuff. And so every time I think I come across something and I said, hey, that'd be a cool tool for someone starting out. And this is where this comes in. This is an electric orbital sander. It comes with sanding bits. Okay, it comes with a small pad. That's what I was concerned about. You can get smaller pad oscillators and you can see the difference in the size. Okay. This one's pretty interesting. Got a lot of options on it. This is it here. It seems to be a bit bigger. And when I compare it, they're roughly the same weight as that one there. Okay. It is, of course, it is electric. It's got the large pad on it, the same size as the other one. Okay. That way there. What's interesting about this one here is this one's designed for a vacuum operated system. So this hose here can be hooked up to your vacuum cleaner, and you plug this in here if you want to, and you can have this here hooked up so that when you're sanding, it'll suck the dust away. Now, I never bothered with that. Even when I had these, some of them had vacuum systems on them, we never used them. But it's a cool feature if, say, you're in a basement house, garage, or something like that, and you're going to do body work and you're trying to keep the dust down, great feature for that. These come with what they call hook-it pads. It's the same as the one that I'm using. I find them great for because you can constantly change them out. You can buy what they call stick-its, which stick onto the oscillator. That's what this one here takes. Okay, it's a smooth pad. It takes a stick-it. Then the problem with it is sometimes they stick on. You get too much heat, they're hard to peel off. You can't reuse the stick-it. Usually you peel it off and you got to throw it away, or you use it for small sanding small stuff. These here, this comes with these little 120s. They just go onto the wheel like so, and they peel off. Okay, and they go onto this one here, and they peel off. So they're pretty cool the way they works. Okay, I turn around now and played around with it, and I bought some cheap ones off Temu. Bought these here, a box of 50, I think it is, and they're the same style ones as the other ones, and you just lay them on there, and they stick on, they peel off. You stick them on, they peel off, right? So you can go from different styles sanding things as you want, and these can be expensive. I think these were like 16 bucks on Temu. I'm always experimenting with Temu now, seeing what type of materials I can get in the way of sandpapers and stuff like that. It's hit or miss, okay? Sometimes you get stuff and it's absolute junk, okay? But other times, I got these here, and look at them. I got them turned around. I used them on my old black Chevy, sanding that down, and they worked out perfect. And so I got them here now, and I can use them on that one there. So now, here's some of the features this machine got. When you buy it, it comes with everything you see here, the instructions. It comes with a second pad. It comes with 2 lots of sanding discs. It comes with the tool to let the center go on them. There's a little Allen key on them there. The 2 different sizes. And you can buy this type stuff at your local body shop that'll fit on these here, which is great. One other feature on this I thought was pretty cool was the length of the cord on it. Like, this is unreal. Look at the length of that. Oh, smooth away, see how far I can get. Yeah, like I'm stood over here and I got the plug in my hand, so you can almost just plug this right into your wall. You don't need that. Like sometimes if there's a short cord on it, you'd be dragging around an extension cord, so you'd have the bulk of the plug with the extension cord as well, dragging that around. So it's good that way. But I'm just going to plug it in here now and turn it on. Oh, turned on, and it's on. And you can see a little light comes on. There's an on-off switch there. Very smooth, okay? But what's one of the features about this I likes? It's variable speed, okay? Let me set this up here and I'll show you. The variable speed is everything, okay? Because when you start doing body work, you're finding that there's certain spots you would like to be going slower and other spots that you'll be wanting to sand it faster. If you're using like 40 paper, 40 sandpaper, you can put 40 sandpaper on that and start cutting filler down. You don't want it going faster. Then when you're doing a small dent and you want to put the 2-part putty on it, and then you put it over it and you want to smooth it out, sand it out, you can turn it down. Everything is variable speed. Just having an electric grinder with a disc on top of it, it's nuts, because you got to realize this is spinning this way, but it's also oscillating as well, okay? And that's the key to any of these. Like if you look at that, that's spinning, but it's also oscillating, right? And like a regular grinder will only spin, and what'll end up happening there is you'll end up just grinding the metal, okay? I've been looking for a simple little electric oscillator that you could use for hobbyists, for anybody that's wanting to do body work and do filler work or anything like that there, and you're looking for something like this. You haven't got to have a compressor. You don't need air hoses. You don't need nothing fancy. All you need is to go out and buy a bit of sandpaper, plug this in, and you're ready to go. Let's try this out. Just going to take one of the stickets that came with it. See what they're all about. Nice long cord. Plug it into the wall. Come over here and see what she sounds like. Turn it down. Have it up on bus first. You can see that how nice I can adjust the speed and sanding. To me, it works just as good as my little red one. I really like the features on it. It seems a bit bulky, but I find that two-handing it, you will be fine. You can still hold it in one hand when you're doing work. And you can just hear how abrupt that is there. Like, you know, when you want to do small things, you can adjust the speed down on it. It's an amazing little tool. I've always wanted to have an electric oscillator, just for the sake of having one. And it's not something I see a lot of. You know, you can turn around and pick one of these up. You haven't got to buy a compressor, and you can sit down and do all kinds of body work with them, because they're great. Because this is more of a finishing sander than it is an actual, like a big DA that for doing heavy work. But to me, I always found it more versatile and more versatile than the other oscillator, because it had a smoother line on it, and you can actually do body work with it. You can actually smooth stuff out and make it nice and straight. Right? But the vacuum thing on it was amazing. I'm watching it blowing all over my hands there. Let's hook this up to the shop vac now and see what it's all about. My shop vac has seen better days, okay? I got no attachments to it. It's just a hose that I got on the end of it. I went and got a little small piece of pipe now that would fit inside that there and slid down inside that there, and that's all I done with it. Nothing fancy. That was an old piece of pipe onto an old tenting system, I think it was. So, you know, and it's only slight pipe is all it is. So I got that hooked onto that. There's the hose that came with the sander. That'll plug into the other side there now. So let's try this out, see what it's all about. See, it's just pretty straightforward. The vacuum hose just runs up and goes in the back of it. It starts sucking air. This actually throws air. And I can honestly tell you there's absolutely no dirt or dust around where I'm sanding. I'm just sanding and it's just disappearing. It's being sucked into the vacuum cleaner. and which is a great little feature. I didn't find it that bulky with the hose. You could get used to it. I'm old school, and if you notice here, I'm hair sanding. I don't have a mask on. A lot of that is because I'm trying to show you different things. I'm not going crazy into this now. When I get into bodywork, I'll be putting respirators and whatnot on. But just for the purposes of this video today, I'm just showing you I'm not wearing no respirators. So anytime you go at this stuff, it's always best to wear masks and stuff like that. But I can tell you right now, what a great little tool. They contacted me. Vevor's always contacted me with ideas. We want to try this tool, want to try that tool. And to me, I'm always looking for stuff that you guys could use. Something that would benefit you in a small shop as a hobbyist and wanting to build stuff, okay? With something like this here, you won't need a compressor, okay? You won't have to sit around and wait for it to build up pressure. You won't have to go and buy a big compressor. You won't need to buy air hoses, the whole 9 yards. And I'm not mistaken, these are like, I thought they were on sale there a while back, just a little bit under $200 or something like that. That's all Canadian prices, so you probably best to check in your local area. But yeah, like variable speed, it all lights up there as you're working with it, okay? You can turn it up and you can turn it down just by the click of the button, and there's the on-off switch right there, right? It's all very smooth, and I find it not overly heavy compared to a regular oscillator. It's a little bit of a bulk to it, but you get used to that. Like usually, this is the way I usually hold them anyway, like that, see? So it worked out really good, and the little vacuum thing is pretty cool. Wasn't expecting that. So there you have it, the Vevor Orbital Sander. As a great little addition. I've been looking for something like this here to show you guys. I've been always looking for tools that I figured that the hobbyist, the first-time user, could actually get at a reasonable price and use. I'm really hung up on that there because there's no need of going out and spending piles of money on tools if you're just getting into it, or if you're only doing one car. Like, you know, there's a limit to your madness when it comes to this stuff. And I always found if you want to get into doing the bodywork end of it, this is the catch me out here for any hobbyist, okay? But I'm going to have a link in the description below on discounts that you can get on these here if you want to order one. I'm going to use it a lot here. I'm getting back across to here soon. I got a lot of bodywork still doing this. I got to finish this quarter and everything off on it. This is what I'm going to use too. So keep an eye on the channel. You're going to see this being used on the channel itself. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. I hope the tips were good. And until next time.